Equally, the Council approved that while this supplementary spending will be funded from the improvement of revenue flows accruing to the government following recent policy initiatives, however, approval is given to increase the domestic borrowing ceiling by the aggregate sum of the supplementary appropriation to enable the debt management office raise funding for the expenditures as may be necessary. It is not anticipated there will be borrowing, but to the extent there will be, it will be raised by the debt management office, not recourse to ways and means. Thank you. Colleagues, the DG budget and staff, members of the media that are here today, the Council considered a request for supplementary appropriation, which is the second for 2023, and graciously approved the sum of 2,176,791,286,033 naira as supplementary budget. And this supplementary budget is to fund urgent issues, including 605 billion for national defense and security. This is to sustain the gains made in security and to accelerate. And these are funds that are needed by the security agencies before the year runs out. Equally, a sum of 300 billion was provided to repair bridges, including Eko and mainland bridges, as well as construction, rehabilitation, or maintenance of many roads nationwide before the return of the rainy season. Equally, the sum of 200 billion was provision for seed, agricultural input, supplies, and agricultural implements and infrastructure in order to support expansion of food production. Equally, the sum of 210 billion is provided for the payment of wage awards. In negotiation with the Nigeria Labour Congress, the federal government agreed to pay 35,000 naira each to about 1.5 million employees of the federal government, and that amounts for September, October, November, and December 2023, and that amounts to about 210 billion, which has been approved. And also 400 billion as cash transfer payment. You may recall that the federal government secured $800 million loan from the World Bank to pay cash transfers of 25,000 to 15 million households. The $800 million is for 2 months, October and November, and President graciously approved that an additional month should be funded by the federal government, and that is what this 100 billion is for. Equally, 100 billion has been provided for the Federal Capital Territory in order to support them in urgent and immediate capital expenditure works that can enhance the infrastructure in the city. Equally, 18 billion naira was provided for the Independent National Electoral Commission to support them in the conduct of the Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo elections. There's the sum of 5.5 billion naira was provided for the funding of the take-up of the Student Loans Board, as well as 8 billion for the take-up grant of new ministries. Equally, a sum of 200 billion naira was provided as capital supplementation to deal with urgent requests that have been made to Mr. President from various parts of the country. Thank you. Thank you. If we have submitted the MTEP to the National Assembly. You may recall that on the 16th of October, I was part of the press briefing here, and I briefed on the MTEP that was approved by the Federal Executive Council meeting. And equally, we are maintaining the January to December budget cycle. One of the major advantages in this administration is that Mr. President had all manners of experience, including legislative experience. And he has, as a governor, negotiated with the State Assembly. Equally, the Vice President, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Chief of Staff, and many ministers who are either former members of the National Assembly or former chief executives of state. So the budgeting process is benefiting from this collective wisdom, mutual respect for institutions, which will narrow the areas for dispute. We appreciate the very excellent relationship between the National Assembly and the executive, and we believe that is what it ought to be. And Mr. President directed all ministers to show the maximum respect and encourage and lobby the National Assembly members so that executive budget will be given the pride of place while respecting the powers of the members of the National Assembly and their representative capacity to nominate projects as and where it ought to be. So we believe that is enhancing the cooperation, and we will see effectiveness in budget preparation and delivery. And we are certain that the calendar will be maintained. Equally, there is a question on the WAJ award. Why did I say September, October? This is a supplementary budget for 2023. So the supplementary budget is providing money for this year. Whatever is incidental to this year, whatever is for 2024 will be included in 2022. In fact, that is why this budget even became urgent, because we negotiated with Labour. They were promised payments will be made this year for some categories of the negotiation, and there was no budgetary provisions. And that's one of the reasons why we are doing the supplementary budget. Thank you.